All right, good. Go ahead, Catherine. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know we're all coming off of, well, maybe not everybody, but like I'm coming off of, I don't know, 12 days of basically doing like nothing productive for the most part and just eating all of the things. So, welcome back to, business as usual. So, tonight, what we're going to talk about, and let me just preface this by saying, by no means am I an expert. Um, I follow some groups and stuff that talk about good Facebook practices, and I've just seen certain things. But like, if you have specific questions about like Facebook stuff, I probably can't answer them just because a lot of it like is stuff that probably only the people who actually work at like Facebook know. But I do definitely have some tips for you guys that I think can help. Um, and I'm going to actually even recommend a group that I recommend that you guys follow. It's one I was actually just watching a couple of their videos today to pick up a couple more things to talk to you guys about. So, first and foremost, I know that all of us have probably seen what we would call not great social media practices. Um, and you guys know that, like, a prime example of that is like the hey girl messages. Like, tell me in the comments if you guys know what I'm talking about when I say, like, hey girl. Like, because that was very, very common there for a while. And unfortunately, it is practice like that that caused Facebook to kind of start cracking down on things. Um, so, yes, yep. It's hey girling, like everybody, basically like cold messaging. And hey girling in itself, like the theory of it is not bad. It's just that the practice of it became so bad that Facebook started basically having to implement all these rules. Here's the thing we have to remember: social media is free. I don't know how many of you watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix. If you have not watched it, I recommend it. It's fascinating, like the psychology and stuff that goes into social media. Like, that's a whole other ballgame. But basically, one of the things they mention in there is that if you're not paying for a service, you're you're the you are the service. Basically, like, you are the one being serviced. So it's actually very interesting, like the way that Facebook ads and all that work. But so the reason that we're even having this conversation is something kind of big just happened. TikTok is what you would call one of the newer social media platforms, right? Well, TikTok just banned multi-level marketing posts. And that's a pretty big thing. And I know there were a lot of newer girls, especially we've had so many social sellers this year, especially younger social sellers who are big like TikTokers. I admit, like, I'm old. Like, I didn't even have a TikTok until like 6 months ago. I've never posted a single video. I just watch it because stuff makes me laugh on there, but I don't use it for business at all. But I know there are some people who have been using it for business and it's been like successful for them. But unfortunately, like, TikTok banned it. Like, they straight up are now like no multi-level marketing. So it's not really an avenue that I would recommend pursuing anymore. We've got Facebook and Instagram. Those are the big ones, right? That most people use. I don't have the percentages anymore, but I once listened to a training about the social media that was obviously like the highest populated, and Facebook was like number one, followed by like Instagram. And so like, and Pinterest and Twitter, and I don't even remember, like Snapchat, those were all like way, way, way lower. So I'm not saying don't pursue those other avenues, but put your focus probably on Facebook and Instagram. Now, here's the thing, like, even I wondered, I was like, oh my gosh, like, panic, right? Like, if TikTok has banned multi-level marketing, does that mean like Facebook is going to do it next? I mean, they would have every right to, right? Because it's a free platform and they can make that decision. But everything I'm seeing sounds like they're trying to avoid that. That's why they're putting all these practices into play, because they're trying to get valuable content versus just like sell out there. So like the one of the groups that I follow, it's Adventure Social is the group, and they have a kind of offshoot group called Talk Nerdy to Me. That is a group that I would recommend, like if you are interested in this kind of stuff, that you follow it, because they do a lot of great lives, and they do have programs that you can obviously like pay for and go through, but they offer a lot of great information completely for free. And like I was just watching one of those videos today, and it's like Facebook is not the enemy here. They actually are big supporters of small business. It might not seem like it because of all these things we're going to talk about, but it's simply because they're trying to help regulate the content that is appearing. Like, I don't know about you guys, right? But this has been a rough year in a lot of ways. And like there for a while, like if I did not have this business, I would not have been on social media. There were a couple times this year where it was rough. Like I would have happily completely detached, whether it be political posts or like just everything that was happening. It was just negativity, 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 negativity. And of course, Facebook was kind of forced to crack down because then, I mean, we were seeing like a lot of like hate speech and some stuff that just wasn't cool, right? Like nobody wants to see that stuff. And so that just led to even further crackdown. So I just want to say, like, number one, it might feel like we as small businesses are getting picked on, but we're actually not. We just have to adjust the way that we're doing business. And there are more tools coming in 2021 that are actually designed to help us as small business owners. I don't have a lot of details on those yet, but I know like Facebook, for instance, is coming out with more tools for using lives. Because lives, guys, if you're not using lives, which admittedly, especially like the last like 12 days or whatever, I haven't gone live a single time, but this was really interesting to me. So this year, right, they've obviously been able to like poll people like watching live streaming events versus like going to events in person. Well, so they did a poll of that, and 65% of people felt exactly the same streaming something live as they would have if they were actually there in person. So more than half of people consuming like video thought that it was just as good as like going to something in person. So, because I know myself, like, okay, guys, I'm a veteran. I've been doing this like 17 years next month. So I'm old school, well, before social media. Like parties were like way different back when I started, rode a dinosaur, all that stuff. But that's the thing. So like, so for me, especially like, cause I've always been such an in-person party person, this year was hard because I was like, oh man, I just don't even know how to move all of this content online. Like I don't feel the same about like a video, like a live party as I do an in-person party. Like I just don't feel the same about it. But according to that, 65% of my clients feel exactly the same way about it. And according to my sales this last year, my team's sales, many of the people in the business's sales, people were more than happy to consume us online versus in person. So we have to learn to adapt. So as far as like your actual like Facebook posts, here are some things that you can kind of like avoid to like slow your algorithm basically, because what Facebook doesn't want is they do not want you constantly barraging people with sales, specials, offers, discounts, buy, book, join. Like, and we've had trainings on that for years, that like that should not be constantly what you're putting out to your clients. You should be putting out value added content. So that means not every single post you put out there should be one about buying a product, booking a party, or joining the team. That should actually be the least amount of stuff you put out there. Like you should be putting more value added content out there versus like trying to get value from what you put out there. So keep that in mind. Like go back through your group and look at it. Even do this on your personal page, because a lot of gals, you know, we seep over onto our personal pages from time to time. But like if the majority of what you're posting is book, buy, or join, you need to start adding more like value content, like educational content, funny content, interactive content. Like people did not like join your group because they just wanted to constantly be sold to. They probably joined their group for some fun, because that's what our business is all about, right? We're all about fun. We're all about education. So give them that, give them fun, give them education. So, but here are a couple things in actual like written posts and also in your lives to avoid, because that is a thing that has also like changed over the last year or so. Facebook is getting smarter and smarter as far as voice recognition. I think they call it, it's called closed captioning, where basically like they screen what you say during your videos. So I don't know if anybody remembers like the whole Super Bowl incident, right? Janet Jackson, y'all remember that? Like however many years ago that was. And at that time, pardon me, TV was live, remember? So everybody got to see like the little nip slip because TV was live. And after that, they changed the whole way things were done, right? Oh my God, 2004, that's so crazy. Where now there's a buffer in there, right? There's a buffer when you watch live TV, because that way they can like stop the feed or whatever they need to before that actually gets to you, the consumer. Well, what is now happening, the same sort of thing, like Facebook is also screening that same, your videos for that type of thing. They're wanting to make sure you're not constantly selling, trying to get bookings, trying to get people to join the team. So some things that you can avoid, just to kind of like in general in posts and what you say, are like what I call like hot terms, right? So sale, discount, deal, offer. Like this video, I guess we're on Zoom, so we'll be fine. If we were on Facebook Live, like I'd be throwing up all the red flags right now. Percent, like comment below, like that's called like comment baiting or clickbaiting. That's also a frowned upon practice. But those types of things, like in both in spoken word in your lives and in your posts, are going to like basically have your post filtered down to fewer and fewer and fewer people the more that you do that. Because Facebook then says, okay, this person is not adding value. This person is just promoting. That's all that they're doing. So like, so for instance, how like, you're like, okay, well, how do I kind of get around that? Number one, be creative. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the content that corporate gives us on the training website every week, there's some wonderful stuff there, right? Like I'm glad that they have professionals, right? That they pay to provide that content for us to use. The thing is, some of the verbiage in that content is straight up salesy, right? So like if you're literally copying and pasting, which I know is the easiest thing to do, but if you're literally copying and pasting that, like some of that like is definitely going to make sure that your post is not seen by nearly as many people, because a lot of those do include like dollar signs and percents and all of that. Another thing, obviously, that is kind of a hot thing is outside links. Like Facebook doesn't really love it. Like when you post, say, like a YouTube link. They don't love it. Like when we post like our website links. Eric and I were kind of experimenting with that yesterday, so I'll try and remember to come back to that about ways to use your website link too. But Facebook doesn't love links. And here's the thing that I myself have been guilty of, because I'm like, oh, I'm so much smarter than Facebook. I'll just put this post up here, right? And I'm not going to put a link in the post, but I'm going to comment with the link. Well, guess what, guys? Facebook is now like seeing that too. Not that they weren't seeing it before, but they're tracking that, right? So like if your first comment is the link, that post is going to be seen by far fewer people. So like private messaging links and that kind of thing, like I know that can be a bit more tedious than just like posting it, but I guarantee you, you're going to get so much further by working via like private messages than just like putting a link on your group and hoping that everybody goes to it, because Facebook is just going to start shutting that down and showing you to fewer and fewer people. So, but yeah, like that's kind of a big one, like that we are all often kind of like guilty of. Like it's just, It's just a practice that everybody does. And it is like the comment baiting, or like it's basically clickbaiting or comment baiting. Like I'm sure all of you have seen like the jingle, jingle bells. Like that's one that I've seen people use in their group, right? Because you're trying to just like boost the number of comments you get on a post, therefore like boosting your algorithms, right? So you have like 1,000 comments maybe on there of people trying to say like jingle before you say bells. Well, here's the thing. You might think that that would help you because like 1,000 people just commented, right? No, Facebook does not like that. That is comment baiting. That is a frowned upon practice. So yes, do we have all kinds of graphics and stuff that are designed to comment bait? Sure. Like corporate just even gave us some right at the holidays, right? Like the candy canes with the numbers, and like we had like heart massagers with numbers to get people to kind of do like the pick a number type of thing. And it's not that like people can't still do that. Like that in and of itself is not like super bad. But like it would definitely be better for them to like private message you rather than comment. Pardon me, because then it's not comment baiting, right? Although I would say the pick a number type of things don't normally get like the ridiculous amount of comments that something like the jingle, jingle bells type things do. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about like the jingle, jingle bells type posts, like let me know. But there's all kinds of variations of them out there. But like that's generally something you should avoid. The pick a numbers, like I said, they're bad enough like on their own, but I just don't think that they're nearly even in the same category as the ones like, yes, like buzz. I've seen people do that one too. So, okay, so avoid that. Like there also like are certain like hashtags that get used. And do I know what those are? Of course not. But I'm sure like if you used like hashtag sale or hashtag discount or hashtag buy me now, like of course like those are going to get minimized to the number of people that they see. Honestly, I believe probably even using hashtag pure romance, like unless you're trying specifically to get something linked with corporate, like some type of recognition or something, I probably wouldn't use hashtag pure romance. Because again, like enough people may have reported posts like that as spam. And then what happens is a trickle down effect, right? And that's the same sort of thing that happens too when the same post gets copied and pasted over and over and over. So again, it's fantastic that corporate gives us the content on the training page. And I'm not telling you, you have to get out there and go and be creative and create all your own stuff. But you might want to at least personalize some of this stuff. Because again, when the same photo gets posted over and over with the same verbiage, Facebook recognizes that. And they know that like that then becomes a post that they're going to look at a little bit more closely, right? And we don't want that. We don't want them looking at our posts super closely. So just be mindful of that. Like, because I don't know about you guys, right? But I'm Facebook friends with I don't know how many hundreds of consultants. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I see one of them doing something and I'm like, oh man, that is so smart. I should totally do that, right? Okay, well, it's fine to take the idea, but maybe don't take the exact image. Maybe don't take the exact same verbiage. Tweak it and make it your own, right? And creating simple graphics is not hard. There's like Canva, which is free. There's a paid version of it, which is like even more features and great, but the free version of it's fantastic. PicMonkey, PicCollage. If you're going to use PicCollage professionally though, just a word of advice, pay like the $3 to take the watermark off of your pictures. I just like, it's like homemade, right? When somebody leaves the PicCollage on there, I just think it looks a little more professional. If you're using it professionally, pay to take the watermark off. But yeah, you can easily recreate some of the stuff that somebody else did with just a little tweak and your own personal flair and get the same results. Okay. So what I would say is that the content that corporate is giving us on that training website is phenomenal. Maybe use that kind of as like an idea. Like Not that their graphics and stuff, pardon me, aren't great and you shouldn't use them, but maybe don't use all of them. And if you have the capability of taking that idea and confirming it or conforming it into something of your own that's yours, cool. Okay. So those are a couple things like to avoid, like as far as like your actual like posts are concerned and your lives are concerned. Like just avoid using those buzzwords, those hot terms. Does that mean you have to get a little creative? Yeah. I don't even know the last time I used the actual word like sale in my Facebook group. Like I've talked about like awesomeness, and I've talked about like, I can't even think of any of the other words I've used, but I hope that gets the point across, right? Like instead of using the term sale, I'm like, oh, there's going to be some awesomeness coming on Tuesday, or there's going to be some badassery coming on Tuesday. I mean, like whatever. Like my VIP is quite used to me like using cuss words from time to time. Like that's just my personality. I don't do it all the time, but like I think it's okay in certain situations. Those of you who know me personally know that that's not how it is in real life, but professionally. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I thought this was something very interesting too. Like, so the most engaged thing are lives. Like that is the most engaged thing on social media, period, are lives and videos. 85% of all internet traffic comes from video. 85%. So all that stuff I even just said about posting doesn't even matter that much, because 85% of what your clients are watching are videos. So go live, make reels, like on Instagram, like use the reels, which I also don't know anything about, but I'm pretty sure that is an Instagram thing. I know my daughter shows them to me. Like I think they're like TikTok, but for Instagram. But anyway, so 85%, guys. So if you're not going live, like, and you're not going live often, you're missing the bus. Like, because clearly that is where most people are seeing their stuff. And you get 3 to 6 times more engagement from a live than from posts. That's huge. So like I myself, after like prepping for this training, am now planning to get more back into a schedule of doing far more lives. I was doing that for a while and then I took kind of a break from it. I obviously need to get back to it because that is what people want to see. So couple other things you can do as far as like, now, can I tell you exactly how to avoid Facebook jail? No. Like, except to not use all the buzzwords. Be very careful about engaging with other people, especially in a negative manner, even in a playful negative manner. Like I actually just saw somebody get thrown in Facebook jail for using the term weirdo. She called her friend weirdo and she got thrown in Facebook jail. So I was like, wow, that seems a little extreme to me. But I mean, I get it. Like they're trying to prevent name calling and all of that. Just like in case you guys didn't know this and you're watching this, like the term dirty French is a buzzword. Like that is one that Facebook does not like. So like I see some girls call it like dirty F. I use DF normally, or D French, like, but do not be typing out like dirty French. And I actually have tried to not even say that in my videos because of that same thing, right? Because they are screening what you say. So it's just things like that. So just be careful about using those buzzwords. So yes, and to answer your question is that yes, they now have bots basically that are listening to what you say in lives, and they are scanning to what you say in lives. And if you're using a lot of those buzzwords, they're gonna get you. And so during my lives, by the way, when I'm talking about price, it's not to say you can't talk about price and that you can't post pictures with price. I just, instead of saying like, this is on sale for $99, I might just say, and today this is $99. Normally it's $129, but it's $99 today. Now, I don't know, are they gonna get smart enough to pick up on that at some point? Probably so. Like another thing that they do is they also are scanning images. So for instance, like if you've posted images with a dollar sign in the image, they are scanning that and that gets shown to fewer people. Then you can post the exact same image, leave the $ off, far more people will see that image. So like, that's exactly what I've done in my group. If I post an image, there's not a $ on it. Like, and I still use some of the corporate images, like when they have like the sets for our website, like I just, I put it in like Over or Canva or whatever I happen to have open on my phone at that point, and I slap a little picture of like my Bitmoji over the price. So that when I then go to post that image in my group, like, number one, it's not the exact same image that 30,000 other consultants posted. Number two, it doesn't show a price. It shows my little cute Bitmoji like over there instead. So that's why I'm saying you don't have to like reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you just have to personalize things a little bit. Like if you're not using your Bitmoji, like, or something that's personal to you, I would recommend that you start using it. Like I'm using mine more and more to create like my own content that's, again, still basically the same content corporate's giving. I'm just personalizing it a little bit with like my Bitmoji. Like I'm getting ready to send out a card, like a New Year's card to my clients. And it has my Bitmoji. Like it doesn't have a picture of real me, because like real me is like way more dirty than blonde right now and like just ate her way through the last 2 weeks, right? So they don't need a picture of me right now, but they have a really cute picture of my Bitmoji, which I'm using in more and more of my marketing. So I want it to be more recognizable. So that's just like a little tip for you, is to like, you know, I use her more now than I ever used to. Okay. So that's kind of like the negative stuff, like as far as like groups and posts. Here are a couple positive things about like groups and things that you can also do to help avoid this. So number one, if you do not have it turned on currently to moderate the posts in your group, you should have it turned on to moderate the posts in your group. Don't get me wrong, like I have clients that post some funny stuff. I also have clients that post some stuff that is even a little risque as far as I'm concerned, because you never know, right? Like, I mean, I have Bible study groups in my client list, and then I have like real wild, like motorcycle chicks in my group. Not that that can't be, you know, those aren't mutually exclusive, but you get my point. So like, I want to make sure I'm in control of what content is being on my group. And yes, so I have it set where I approve all posts before they are on my group. I also have that on my personal profile. If you guys do not have that on your personal profile, I recommend that as well, because I don't know, there was one last year, I swear, like 15 people tried to put it on my timeline, and it was something with penises, and I don't remember what it was, but like it was like the same video, and 15 of them tried to put it on my timeline. I was just like, oh my God, if one more person tags me in this stupid video that is too raunchy for my personal page, And this is more important than ever now. And that is because Facebook, when I say that they are scanning images, they're scanning videos, like they are cracking down more and more on like what I would call like illicit images. Okay. Like one of the girls on our directors group the other day was just talking about, I don't know if you guys all saw it, but it was a knife that had peanut butter on the tip of it. That kind of looked a little like a penis. That got flagged, and it was peanut butter on a knife that just happened to look phallic, and it got flagged. So like, if you have not been moderating your group, like I would highly suggest it. And I don't care how funny that like that penis pic is, I don't recommend posting it. Like, it's just because ultimately it's not going to be that client, right, that like gets their group shut down. It's going to be you who gets your group shut down. So you need to be in charge of that content. So moderate your content in your group, moderate your personal timeline too, just to make sure you're not getting anything crazy. Yes, the gray sweatpants this year, right? You would think that that's fairly harmless, right? Posting about gray sweatpants, because that none of those generally actually even showed anything like specific. but oh man, was it a hot one. And I didn't post a single thing about that in my group. I don't think I say that, but I'm almost positive I didn't, because I heard of my friends getting flagged for it. So make sure you do that. Other tips. So I know some people are setting up a second personal profile and putting that in their groups. Here's the thing, guys, that is against Facebook's rules. I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but I'm not going to do that, because they are starting to crack down on that more and more. And often they will shut down not just the new account, they will shut down your old one too. So like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to lose complete access just because I set up another just in case account. So if you do not currently have somebody who is an admin on your group other than you, you need to find somebody that you trust to be an admin on your group other than you. So like my top leader, she is an admin on my group. I'm an admin on her group. So that way, just in case something happened to one of us, like the other one of us is there. Like I actually, I don't even know how I did this. Like a couple of years ago, I removed myself from my own group. I don't even know how I did it, but I removed myself from my own client group, and she had to add me back. And I was like, well, thank you for adding me back to my own client group. So it's better to have somebody there. And if your group gets like really, really big, like I know a lot of you may be newer, so maybe that's not the case right now, but like if your group gets to the point where it's big and you're having trouble managing it, like maybe ask some of your leaders to moderate. And moderate and admin are two different things. We recently found this out with our leader. They can do a lot of the same things, pardon me, but there was something like an admin had the power that was like super important, and I can't remember what it was that a moderator did not. I can't remember now exactly what it was, but so definitely I would say make an admin on your group other than you. Here's the other thing, and this is why I say like Facebook is not like trying to stop small businesses. Have you guys noticed the insights in your Facebook groups? If you are not checking out the insights in your Facebook group, you should. Now, some of them, like I know some groups, like they show like right on the post. It'll like if you look under your post, it'll say like 232 post reach or something. Like, and some groups are not doing that. Some groups you have to actually go in and manually look at your insights. But if you have not looked at your insights in your Facebook group, that is a super cool thing to look at. Let's see, I can't remember even exactly where you get to. It's in your, like, I don't go to it from my phone. I go to it from my desktop. I'm sure you can get to it from a phone. I normally am in the group on my desktop when I'm doing this kind of thing, just because I like the big screen because I'm old. I want to see it all on the big screen now. Okay, yeah, so it's under your badge from your phone. Okay, but like if I go to my actual group, underneath my admin tools, like it's got all my stuff there, like pending post, because I have all my posts set to be moderated, right? And then there's a little thing down there under insights called growth and engagement. If you have not looked at those, you 100% should. Like I was shocked when I started going through that at the days and times that my group was the most active. Like I actually started adjusting the times of when I was doing my parties because of that. So that is definitely something I recommend that you explore if you have not. And it's not even just like overall, like on this day and this time, your group is busier. You can go to a specific post and specifically see what the reach of that post was. And I guarantee it, if you go through your posts for the last 2 weeks, even anything that was like salesy or had buzzwords, I can almost guarantee you your post was like, your reach was like way lower than anything else that you posted. So again, that's why I say you have to be a little creative and be careful about what you're doing. And so what I've been doing and what I'm planning to do on into the new year is to go in and look at the posts that are getting the biggest reach. Like in my group, it's funny stuff. Like I'm a funny person. Like I think I'm funny. I don't know. Like my clients seem to think I'm funny, but like I like funny stuff. I think funny stuff's hilarious. And in my group, funny stuff tends to get the biggest reaction, and heartfelt stuff. Like everybody likes feel goods, right? So like feel good type stuff always gets people going in there. So if you have not looked at that, take some time to really look at that and like schedule your posts to hit when it shows that your people are the most active. Go live when it shows that your people are the most active. And you can go back, it goes like week by week and stuff, and you can see. So it's actually a very cool feature. So that's why I'm telling you that like Facebook is not out to get us, or they wouldn't give us tools like that. Like they're literally handing us the tools of like, hey, here's when people are active. Instagram, by the way, has that same thing because Facebook and Instagram are owned same people. So Instagram also has insights that you can look at. So if you have not done that, do that. Yes, another thing that somebody mentioned in the comments, as far as your groups and protecting your groups, I do have screening questions set up for people to get into my group as well. Basically, one of them is simply, are you 18 or over? They have to answer yes or no. And I can't remember. And the other one is like my group rules or whatever, right? And basically they answer yes to that question, boom, they're in the group. So that's just another CYA type of thing to do. Pardon me, as far as your Facebook group, is to set it up some screening questions. Because actually like in the last few weeks, I've had more and more, like I'm guessing like fake accounts, like try to join my groups. But they like never answer those questions. So I just go in and I like remove them because then I know that they're a fake account because I pull them up and I'm like, okay, we don't have any friends in common. You're not friends with anybody in the group. How did you even find my group? So definitely go through like your group guidelines, your member approvals. They're actually technically called membership questions, I guess, the questions where you get them to like say they're 18 or whatever, and go through your insights. Like those are wonderful tools to have. And my understanding from the Talk Nerdy to Me group is that the lives will start getting more options and stuff later this year. So because the lives are obviously what people are watching, they will start bringing out more and more tools for us to use for that. Oh, no, by the way, just another little like fun fact that I thought was really interesting about Facebook Lives. We've always heard, right, that like you need to keep them short and sweet, right? Keep them short and sweet. People generally don't have much of an attention span past like 2-ish minutes, 3-ish minutes. Well, what Facebook wants, here's what Facebook wants, 30 minutes or more is what Facebook wants, because that actually gives the chance for the algorithm to actually kick in and to actually see how many people have engaged. Now, am I going to tell you that you should go live in your group 5 times a week for 30 minutes at a time? No, probably not. But like me, I worry about like when I do a party in my group, I worry, I'm like, oh God, I'm going long. Oh, I'm at like 45 minutes. I'm at like 50 minutes. I'm probably losing people. But according to that group, I'm actually doing exactly what Facebook wants me to do. So I thought that that was pretty interesting. So now that obviously means you have to be having value content though, right? Like you can't just be on there for 30 minutes blathering about nothing. You have to be doing something that's keeping people engaged for the 30 minutes. But anyways, I just thought that was really interesting. Let's see here. Okay. So basically, overall, as far as Facebook, and then I do want to talk just a little bit about texting and our links too. When it comes to your group and anything that you're posting, think of long-term, basically meaning you're adding value to your client's life in some way. Think long-term versus short-term, which means you're extracting value. You're extracting something from them. And you want your group to be more long-term. You want it to be more value added and less of you trying to get something from them. So, and people like that anyways, guys. We're in the relationship business. That's like literally what we do is relationships, right? Your clients want to have a relationship with you. So like you want to open those avenues to them. Okay, just a couple other things here. Facebook links. So this is a known issue. I don't know when and if corporate will be able to fix this, but I do know there has been a known issue recently with Facebook stripping your personal information from website links. What I mean by that, there's a video by that Jana Vukolich did that maybe somebody will post, but she did a short video about it. But basically, what it is that, and Eric and I experimented with this yesterday. Like when I posted my website link in my group, and then I went to post on my website link, and this was my like pureromance.com/Catherine Cook one. When I hit that link, when the page it brought up was not my website. That was the corporate official website. So if my client had clicked on that link, they would have gone to corporate's website, not mine. Meaning when they ordered, oh, thank you for posting that, Erica, thank you. When they ordered, like their order went to corporate. Now, sometimes you know that they have ordered because maybe they contacted you or they're ordering for a party, and then you can reach out to corporate and corporate will help with that order. Like, I know it depends sometimes what they do, but almost always you'll get the profit from the order. You may or may not get the retail credit from the order, but I think it kind of depends on the situation. But this is a very known issue. So hopefully we'll get a fix for it, but I don't think that it's corporate's fault. My guess is that it's something with Facebook. So that was interesting to me. However, when I posted my domain name in my group and clicked on the link, it went to my About Me page. So if a link you are posting is not to your About Me page, you might want to set up like a tiny URL or, oh God, what's the other one? Tiny URL, Bitly. Yes, thank you, Bitly. So that to your About Me page versus like your regular, like just /Catherine Cook or whatever it is. Okay. Hopefully that made sense, but it was very interesting. And Eric and I both tested this. Like when Erica posted her domain name and we clicked on the domain name, it went to her About Me page. Mine went to my About Me page. But if we posted the official pureromance.com / insert name here, it went to corporate. So yes, the Flipbook page is being dinged, and I'm actually going to talk about that as far as texting too, because we're going to talk a little bit about texting because some of this is affecting texting as well. So what I would recommend as far as links are concerned, if you do not have a domain, they're fairly inexpensive. A domain is a good idea. If you just can't swing a domain right now, make sure that you are copying the link to your About Me page. And either like you can shorten it if you want to, like I said, a tiny URL or a Bitly, or just post the long link that is to your About Me page. Because then when your clients click on it, it should bring up your picture, your face right there. And if you don't have a picture on your website, add a picture on your website. Okay. People don't like to be shopping with anonymous. They want to see your smiling face there. So that was one thing. I know some people also had found that like if they left the HTTP off the front, or the www off the front, like that seemed to be having less trouble too. So for instance, my domain is KC Romance. So now yesterday when I was trying this, I posted like the www.kcromance.com, and it worked fine. But then I know other people had been doing the same thing where they just left the www off and it was also still fine. So I did not get a chance to test yesterday. I didn't think about it. If I left the HTTP off of in front of pureromance.com / Catherine Cook, if that would have made a difference. So it might be worth just experimenting kind of on your own. What I did, by the way, guys, is Eric and I sent them back and forth in messages to each other, but then like I posted in my own group and clicked on them from my group to see what they did. Also, if you're promoting a certain product, go to that product on your website and copy the link directly to that product. you should see in the long link up at the top, it should be like pureromance.com/PWS/Catherine Cook, whatever. And so you just want to make sure that you see your name in that link. And then you know that it's going to your site and not corporates. Okay. So that's important too. And Erica posted the link for that. Okay. If you're going to get a domain name, by the way, get one that's easy to spell and short and sweet, and ideally a .com versus like a .net or whatever the other dots are, .biz, just because most people default to .com. So short, sweet, easy to spell. All right, I just do want to briefly talk about texting, because a lot of the buzzwords that I talked to you guys about as far as like your Facebook groups, they've changed some things with cell phone carriers over the last few months too, where they have really started cracking down because of the sheer amount of spam we all get. Like, I don't know about you guys, right? But like, I hardly ever get like real phone calls anymore. Like all the calls I get are for the most part from spammers, right? And then like when the election was coming up, you would get all like those spam election texts and all of that stuff. Well, unfortunately, bad behavior by others is punishing us. So like I use Engage, but we found that it doesn't necessarily matter, because one of my leaders was sending personal text messages and had the same problem that I had with Engage. So it wasn't just because mine went through a service and hers was done personally, like we both had the same trouble. So when you're using, again, overly salesy language in your text to your clients, those are starting to be filtered more and more into spam and not being delivered, which I know that sucks. Like the whole situation sucks, because at least in my case, my clients opted in to be on my text list. Like I'm not spamming them. They actually like asked to be on my text list. So the fact that their carrier is blocking the messages I send them is BS, because they wanted my messages, right? So again, that creativity I was talking about, like when you're using your Facebook posts and you're being creative with your verbiage, I am now doing that exact same thing when I send text messages. Like I am avoiding using the term sale, offer, discount, percent, any of those things. And also if you are sending links are also more likely to be spammed. And like, here's what really sucks is once somebody marks a link as spam, that trickles down to other people. So like in the comments here, some of the gals are mentioning like on Facebook, for instance, that the Flipbook link is being dinged on Facebook. The training link via Engage has been dinged. Meaning like, so I'm sending like onboarding texts to our new team members that were not being delivered because somebody had said that training.pureromance.com was spam. Or enough people had said that it was spam, that the carriers went, oh, that link is now spam. And any message that comes in containing that link, spam automatically. So now that is something like services like Engage are trying to like work with. But you as a consumer, you're like, okay, well, I'm texting it personally. What do I do? All you can do is file a complaint with your carrier and tell them like, this is content that I want and you're blocking it. Like that is a legitimate link. And bit.lys and tiny URLs are much more likely to get spammed as far as text messages, because that's what a lot of the spammers use, are those shortened links. So even though it might be longer in a text, you're probably better off using like your actual like long site or your domain name. So, and like I said, just be careful, because like I said, I did not get locked out in my Engage, but I have been tweaking the way I've been sending my texts out to help increase my delivery rate, basically. Also, I'm using, again, more personalized images. So like I'm using Canva and my Bitmoji more and more in the text blasts that I send to people. So like my birthday text, for instance, and my anniversary text, instead of like, before I used like a corporate image and then I just put in the words that they got like a discount for their birthday. Well, now I have a cute little picture with my Bitmoji that says like 20% off. And it's in the image versus in the text. So that's working for now. The texting services might start implementing the same type of thing that Facebook is, where they're scanning images, and that may become less effective in the future. But for now, that's working. So that's a little bit of a workaround. But yes, so like I said, with Engage, I and several other Engage people were having trouble. But yes, like one of my leaders was prepping for her big flash sale back in like October. And so she was, you know, what you've all done, right? Copying, pasting, and putting like, hey, Erica, or whatever. So she was changing it. So it wasn't exactly the same message, but she messaged too many people in too short a time. Her carrier shut her down. It wasn't somebody else's carrier that shut her down. Her carrier shut her down as spam. And this is not just one carrier. T-Mobile / Sprint, which are now the same company, in case you guys didn't know, they seem to be the worst about it. But AT&T and Verizon are having the issue of some as well. So, but yes, like I think the Flipbook link was one even that was getting flagged in text messages, probably because people were sending it out and people mark it as spam. So ways to get around that: try and get them to interact with you versus just like blasting it out, you know. Like I'm hopeful that some of that will become a little less ridiculous in the future, but it is definitely something for you to keep in mind as far as texts are concerned too. So like I said, basically the same rules that I am following for my Facebook posts, I am now basically following when I send out text messages too. So I think that was it. I think that was everything. And I circled back around. I told you guys about the links, like about your links, Facebook stripping the info. I
have a question.
Yes, in 1 second, madam. I'm reading through the comments here real quick. Sorry. I don't know, Erica. I don't know if Erica's basically asking if like when you send a text that said, would you like the link to, and then you send the link, they say yes, and you send the link if it's getting flagged. I don't know. But I definitely think that is a better interaction for a carrier to see. Like, because it's one thing for them to see, like, because think about it, right? If there's only 4 major carriers and say you're texting 100 people, chances are 25% of those people just got the same text message from you, right? And so AT&T knows, like, hey, that's a spam text, right? Whereas if you're sending that message out and then you get a reply from 10 of your AT&T customers, well, then AT&T goes, oh, that's not spam. That's something that they wanted. They're interacting with it. So I hope that makes sense. Like, I definitely do think getting some engagement back and forth makes you look far less spammy. Do I know for certain that they don't still flag the link? No. Because I've seen some other leaders say that like they were doing that. Like they were literally like talking back and forth with a client and the link would not go through. She tried sending it like 4 times and they were going back and forth. I think she ended up sending it via Facebook finally or something. So hopefully that is something that will get better. But all we can do is complain to our carriers, ask our clients to complain to our carriers. Like I said, I use Engage, and so Engage is trying to work with our carriers like about it. But all we can try and do is create value content that they want and they interact with. So, okay. All right. So sorry, I saw that and I didn't want to forget to answer that. You had a question, madam. What can I do for you?
Yeah, it was actually somebody else had posted it. So do you think that with going live, since they are monitoring lives, that us showing toys in the lives, will that be a threat possibly?
I definitely think it is a risk, yes. I mean, do I know for certain? No. Do I think it is a risk? Yeah. because unlike like YouTube, right? Like now, now you have the capability on a YouTube video to basically say like, this is only for people over the age of 18, right? Like they've made that tweak on YouTube. Well, in our Facebook lives, they're not doing that, right? Like we can't put the requirement on there that they have to be 18. So is it a risk? I'm guessing it probably is. I would probably just try to avoid showing anything that is super phallic. I know that luckily most of our toys don't look super phallic anymore. But I would probably just try to avoid it when you can.
So should we like definitely guarantee, make sure that we put in the description, must be 18 or older to view this video?
I think, yeah, in the description. And I've been trying to make sure I say it at least once, if not like twice. And I always give a warning too, like, because if somebody flags your live video, that also is like super detrimental, right? So I give like 3 warnings before I show anything that buzzes or before I start using verbiage that people might find offensive. Even if that verbiage is correct anatomy, like we know some people find that offensive, especially around their kids. So I always try and give a warning and be like, hey guys, I'm gonna start using some grown-up words here. So heads up, earbuds, or come back and watch this when your kids are in bed. All I can say, I guess, is just CYA. Like I'm a big fan of CYA wherever you can. All right, anybody else? Okay, sorry, let me just scroll through the comments. You guys had lots of comments and I was trying to keep up on them. And Erica, if you see any that I haven't covered, let me know. I know this was a long training. It actually went longer than I expected. Sorry. That's what happens when I make outlines. I get way more wordy. But there's just so much I wanted to tell you guys. Like I said, I definitely do recommend Adventure Social, and they have a subgroup called Talk Nerdy to Me. Like, I think that they have some really good content there. And again, it's free. Like they do have programs and stuff that you can join that you pay for. And most of those companies like that do, right? Like a lot of companies are like, come watch this training on how to like beat the Facebook algorithm. And some of them do give you actually good content for free, but many of them have programs that they're trying to get you to buy. But this one, the Adventure Social one, I think that they give a lot of stuff for free, which is nice.
How do I add an admin?
You have to go to that member. And I think maybe I couldn't do it from my phone. I feel like I had to do it from my computer. But maybe I could do it from my phone.
Hey, Catherine. Hey, Catherine.
Yeah.
This is Siabanga. I just added Erica as an admin to my VIP group. Just pick someone who's a member of your group, and if you click on them, it'll have like a list of things, and it'll say like block them, mute them, make them an admin, make them a moderator. So it gives you a menu. If you do it on your desktop, it's going to ask you to re-enter your password. I can't remember my Facebook password. I've had Facebook since the days of Methuselah, so I don't remember. So I did it on my phone, and it popped up, and I sent a request to add Erica as an admin on my group. So if you pick that member and click on them, it'll give you like a menu option of what you want to do with that member. Do you want to block them, mute them, make them a moderator, make them an admin, all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just added one. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I got it.
Yes. And I would just definitely like talk to the person, because they do have to accept to be an admin as well. Like we found that out.
Yeah, I did ask her first.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm just saying, like, everybody else, don't be like, oh, willy-nilly just adding people as admin. Like, make sure you talk to them about it.
I will offer my services as an admin because I'm on Facebook way too much, and I'm a member of a lot of.
Yeah, like I think just to make sure you talk to the person, and that it's somebody you super trust, right?
Groups. So
yeah, and like I said, we did find out this last time that yes, they have to actually accept to be an admin. They're not just like automatically, they have to accept it. So it's good to talk to them about it before you do it. Let's see, Julie, I'm looking back at your comment here that you were listed as spam when you called somebody. All I would say that you can do is you can try to talk to your carrier about it and say, hey, I was listed as possible spam. What can we do about that? Because what may have happened, maybe, is that you called somebody and they marked you as spam, even if it was an accident. But I'm not great because the phone call stuff I don't know as much about because it hasn't affected me. So I apologize. Let's see. Yeah. The Facebook is like Facebook, and that is a thing that they talk about in the Adventure Social group, like that Facebook is not super forgiving. Like often when they like shut you down, like they shut you down and there's like nothing you can do about it. Or sometimes like content gets reported and you can't argue about it. Like there's literally nothing you can do. And it sucks, I know, but we just have to remember that we are utilizing a free service and they can do whatever they want. So I just try to avoid it as much as I can. Like I even just had a really funny meme the other day, like, and it literally just had the words dick pic in it. And I thought it was hilarious. Like it made me laugh out loud, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to post that because if their bot scans it and sees that, they might flag it. So I guess I would just say, if you question it at all, like if you would show it to your grandma, it's probably fine to put on your group. Just saying. Like that's how I've always been though. Like I wouldn't say something at a party that I wouldn't have said at my grandma, in front of my grandma. So that's kind of how I try and run my group too. Like I'll be a little naughty, but I try not to be like crazy naughty. Let's see. Okay. I think that was it. Oh, somebody got shut down for calling somebody stupid. I'm not surprised by that. Like I said, with all the hate stuff that was going back and forth, like this year, like, although I think that that's kind of crazy, right? Like calling somebody stupid, calling somebody a weirdo, and they flag it. Like it's hate speech, which I like. So like, again, it's just the type of thing, like I would totally like be like to my sister, I'd be like, you're stupid, right? But now I need to be like, oh no, I'll just text it to her instead, instead of putting it on Facebook. So just be careful. I guess I would say lean more towards PG-13 as far as everything you post and everything you type. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I scrolled through the contents. If I missed anything, let me know. Like I said, by far, guys, I am not an expert. I hope some of what I said was helpful. Some of it, like I said, is just best business practice. Like, unfortunately, we had a lot of not great business practice come before us, and it's kind of ruined it for everybody, right? So we just have to try and avoid it. Oh, and actually, that's one I worry about too, Jocelyn, is the term naughty. Like I use the term naughty actually quite a bit, but think about it. Like if you're Facebook and you're trying to flag posts, the word naughty, well, I mean, that's a pretty good indicator, right? Naughty. So aside from Christmas time, right? When people are saying like naughty and nice, I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm sorry that was so super long. I hope that it was helpful. Erica, I don't know if there's anything else from you guys, but if you guys have any questions, you are welcome to like message me. But like I said, most of the information I get has just either come from like the owners of Engage. They've been really great at keeping us informed, or from like groups like Adventure Social, where they kind of stay up to date on current social media stuff. So, okay, guys.
Yeah, this was really, really, really good information, Catherine. Thank you. I'm already like, oh shit, I need to go take a look at my group and look at all my.
I know the insights thing is amazing. Like
yes.
I was on the phone with Megan Berryessa. We zoomed for like 3 hours one day, and we both like started pulling ours up, and like they'd had insights for a while, but I don't think they were nearly as detailed as they are now. And we were both just like fascinated. We were like, wow, like the time I'm going live, wasn't even like a busy time on my group. Well, that was silly of me. So I can't expect them to adjust to me. I'm going to adjust to them.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I'm now gonna have to go and like look all this stuff up, and
Yeah, you're welcome for all like the to-do list stuff I just gave you for your January.
yeah, right. Yeah, well, and even the text message thing with the links, because I literally just had this as we were coming down to the wire at the end of the year and trying to meet goals, and I had texted a lady who she and I have gone back and forth with several times because she doesn't have Facebook. So we texted back and forth several times, and I was trying to give her the Flipbook link just because it's easier, to look through than, trying to go on my site and look through stuff. And it wouldn't go through, and it wouldn't go through. And, she thought I was crazy because I was like, okay, here's the link and you can look at it. She's like, did you send something? But then my actual business page went through fine, but I do use a domain name and I have for years. So that's really good to know.
Well, and I will say this,
I have T-Mobile.
but there was, oh shoot, you said something and then I was like, oh, so what they did find what the engaged people told us is that text with images don't seem to get flagged as much as just texts. So I have almost always tried to use images just because I know, like, even on Facebook, when you use an image, like more people see your posts. But so for texting, try to always include like an image, at least in your initial one, because that seemed to be helping at least some, that people were using a picture and not just words. So
yeah, great info. And yeah, I do have a big old to-do list now. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking your time to do this, because once we kind of started talking about this, I was like, oh shit, this information needs to be out there since we're all signing social sellers and since we're all social selling ourselves. So yeah, and I didn't know about most of this. So.
Yeah. And it's just, again, not an expert, but just sometimes, like, I know, like, being in like a nerd group might sound like super terrible, but I have learned a lot of great stuff being in that group and just simply paying attention.
I know I'll be joining that.
So, okay, guys. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks,
Happy social
everybody.
selling.
Yes, thank you for your time, Catherine. And you guys, I did record this, so once I get the link, I will make sure that it gets out to everybody, and have all your girls watch it. This is important info. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.